So what I'm going to do to try to help a lot of people who are looking at this PlayStation 5 Pro question is I'm going to create a playlist. Now the playlist, I'm going to put videos of different PC builds and prices that I think will make sense for them from a budget perspective. And number two, what it's going to accomplish, it's going to be able to build a PC that would actually do better than the PlayStation 5. Now, one thing a lot of people don't really realize is right now, AMD is the winner of this whole conversation. They make the PC components and they also make the components for the Series X, the Series S, the PS5, the PS5 Pro. Those particular devices are AMD-based devices. And what AMD has come to do is on the back end, as they've been making these devices for Sony and Microsoft, their prices have been going down on their own PC components, not because, the PC components are old, but because as they make more advanced components and as they make better components, the prices basically are pressured to go down for the older devices, of which the older devices were already good in the first place. Not only are we going to take this particular route, we're also going to look at the technical specifications in each video that's going to be on that playlist. And what we're going to do is we're going to see how the PC itself, basically takes out the console. And we'll be able to basically see for yourself that, okay, this is exactly why, we're doing this. So the very first exhibit in this particular case is we need to first look at how we even know these console components and what it is that they do and why we can actually simply, beat them in building in terms of all of that. So first of all, we know that the Series X and S uses a CPU that's called the AMD 4800S. Digital Foundry has a desktop kit for it, which because some of these Series X's, when they were in production, they had like a little issue in terms of their graphics. AMD went ahead and repurposed it and they added like some components and soldered them in there and they made them desktop kits and sold them in China only. So people who were probably looking for a computer could use a PC like that for gaming. We know what it does. We know what its single core and multi-core, components are. And Digital Foundry compared it in a sense to the Ryzen 5 3600, the desktop version in terms of that. Now, this AMD 4800S is actually an APU. What it means is its GPU and its CPU are put together. However, in the desktop kit, no integrated graphics, and so they unlocked it. And then they did some tests. They ran some numbers, and you could tell that the 4800 desktop kit and the 3600, which is the Ryzen 5 3600, in some games will match each other, but in some other games, the 3600 will basically be, in a sense, slightly better. So that's one way that we're able to tell, okay, this CPU that we're going to use is going to be around the same place. Now, keep in mind that in some other games like Flight Simulator, 3600 obliterates the 4800, S desktop kit in terms of performance, in terms of some other metrics. In some cases, it's about 58%. Let's say 58%. It's about about 58% higher when you actually check it out. So take this, for instance, CSGO. The 4800S is at 100% in terms of its GPU, FPS, and performance. And then the 3600 is at 158%. So we're certain at this moment in time that this particular CPU, the Ryzen 5 3600, already gives the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X's CPU a run for its money. Now, instead of using the 3600, which is not even really the most impressive CPU, we're going to use the 5500, which is actually, much more solid than the 3600 and a lot cheaper at about $80. This is how you first start the build. So already this CPU can match the performance of the PS5 Pro even. And I think this is the most important thing a lot of people are not paying attention to. Now, the reason I started out this video and I pointed out this particular component is because, you're going to see a lot of this willful ignorance on the internet. Now, I'm not trying to dog on anybody because, this is just something that we have to point out that a lot of people who are saying what it is that they're saying have no idea what they're talking about. Michael Pachter, who, love him or hate him, said something about as sales continue to decline. Sony's solution is to raise the price. Brilliant, which everybody can agree that this is an asinine price point. However, what I see is a lot of console, aficionados pretty much defending that this is actually good and you can't build a PC for that price point. And this person said you can literally build a PC that will put this to shame. Well, while he said that, a lot of people kept saying that's not even remotely accurate. You can't. So what he started doing was he started pasting a PC part picker list of about $735 that I think is, a little bit excessive, because he's using a Ryzen 7 3700X, which is way above in terms of performance. In fact, if we look at that, Digital Foundry video, there's, I think, a Ryzen 7 CPU in the list, in the running, and that CPU is in a whole different category when you actually think about like the difference. Like, check this out. This is a Ryzen. No, not even a Ryzen 7. I take that back. Well, yeah, there's a Ryzen 7, but it's a 4750G, which is an old SKU. But this is a Ryzen 5 7600. That's even way less than a Ryzen 7 3700, and it's at least almost 3 times better. So I think he went overboard even in this CPU, which is fine because that gives you longevity and gives you future proofing. So he basically starts pasting all of this, and people are saying the PS5 Pro has an RX 6800. I don't think it does, because the 6800 is a 1440 card, and even if it did, the CPU already bottlenecks that GPU in most cases, because a lot of games are CPU bound. And a lot of people kept saying you really can't, you literally can't, and he just kept posting the list. I started even joining him and posting this PC part picker list that I'm going to show you. As for the GPU, which is going to be your most expensive item, I'm going with the 6750 XT because I know that the PS5 Pro has a 6700 non-XT in it, which is right now $299. You can get it for about $279. I've seen it come that low. I bought one for $314 to actually put this particular build together. DDR4 RAM, which is from that, the DDR4 generation, AM4, is about $32. You can buy a motherboard for about $66. You can buy it for less if you actually get a good deal on it. Your case you can buy for about $45, and it's a decent case. It's not even going to be a crappy case. In a sense, you can also buy a power supply from EVGA, 600 watts, for about $55. When you're done, you'll be at $637 when you actually add shipping and so on and so forth. If you're fortunate to buy your components from a store like B&H, you'll be able to save money on your taxes and even get free shipping. Now, meaning they're only going to charge you the base price and refund your taxes to you. So actually, your overall cost is about $630.07. And maybe a thing or two is more expensive on B&H. Maybe let's say $637 at the end of the day, or $697. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to go into that playlist as we start building this case for people who may be thinking about moving to PC. The concerns are now in. Somebody was saying, in their opinion, they said this on my channel, I think we need to move the conversation from the PlayStation 5 Pro itself and its performance and such to its pricing. Because what this will set is a precedent for an $800, $850, $900 PS6 SKU. Because if they base the console at $800, maybe they make some improvements, and then they tell you, hey, this is a diskless version. Why not buy yourself a accessory, which is how they're actually looking to make their money. I hope you guys are aware of that. This console that they're giving you is a console that at the end of the day, they're going to be selling for a slight loss. Think about it, right? At the end of the day, when they go ahead and, give you this particular item, they're going to try to make their money with accessories. Let me show you how they're doing it. In 2021, they unveiled this to you. They told you here in the article that PC Gamer wrote, Sony made the announcement and says the $499 PS5 no longer sells at a loss. But then if you read the article very carefully, it says, however, there is still some work to do to make the cheaper $399 digital edition of the PS5 profitable. Right now, Sony says a loss made on that console is being offset through peripherals and continued sales of the PS4 console. So they want to sell you that disc that you're going to add to your PS5 Pro. It's the exact same one that's compatible so that they can make some money because it's just overpriced. A CD player is not that expensive. I see a lot of people saying, well, how about a CD player? Have you seen how much CD players are on, for PC, the USB versions? It's quite shameful when you compare it to what PlayStation is asking. So a lot of people are going to be paying a premium price for a subpar product when they buy the PlayStation 5 Pro in today's market. And some of you are not willing to go ahead and do that. So that's why we're creating this playlist. We're going in order for us to be able to say, okay, what is it that can help, players who are actually thinking about making this move, and how can they be better served? Now, some of you may have your opinions and you may have like all of this stuff, but again, the technical details are the main part. And what I want to do for these videos is I want to remove a lot of the dross and I want to remove a lot of the nonsense. So ideally, it'll be best for me to just, if I see a comment that's not providing the, technical data and the evidence in terms of performance and stuff, and it's not accurate, I'll delete it so that we can actually have, reasonable conversation, because there are a lot of people that want to poison the well. And the thing is, a lot of people that are coming to the conversation are actually coming from content creators and individuals on the space that, to be very honest, they think they know what they're talking about. They're watching these grifter YouTube channels. They're reading these Twitter accounts of people who have a good following, and they're coming and taking what they say without verifying it and cross-referencing it with the data, and they're spewing it out here. So we need to ensure that all that is kind of like put aside, because again, like I said, the data is as scientific as you can get it. Thankfully, Digital Foundry was able to get their hands on that kit, and we all could just see. Here's the thing. Those of you who haven't seen this, it's, PlayStation and Xbox don't want you to see this. They want you to keep thinking that they're offering you a more superior product for that price point. So at the end of the day, you're in a better position if you actually think about it. And I'm sure somebody will maybe point out something like, how about 2 terabytes or whatever it is? Please, you bought the PS5 with 1 terabyte of memory, and then most of you had to go upgrade that 1 terabyte of memory. And then you're still going to pay for PlayStation Plus, and you're still going to pay more money per game that's actually sold to you. Every game that you actually buy on the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X is on average $10 more expensive than its PC counterparts. We have a lot of third-party key stores that are competing with one another. So your games, even the ones when they go on sale, when they do so on the PC side, are way cheaper. I can pick any game right now and I can point out its PC counterpart, and you're going to see that there's basically no difference. For example, if you play a game like Tekken 8, I'm still waiting for that guy in the comment section that told me that I'm a casual in fighting games, and I would love to learn from that person. So let's use a fighting game example. PlayStation, Tekken 8, which I haven't even played Tekken in years, but at the end of the day, it's not really going to be a big deal. You can kind of apply those principles of back in the day Tekken, and you go on PlayStation's website and you look at the price for Tekken 8 right now. They're asking you for $70 for the base edition, whereas on PC, on the key store like CD Keys, you can buy the exact same game for $32, even later down the game's lifespan. And so what is another new game that came out? Let's check out Space Marine Part 2, right? Let's go ahead and check out Space Marine 2 and see what the price point is and be able to kind of help you put that in detail. Space Marine 2, let's see if we can get any hits in that regard. This is what I don't like about PlayStation's search engine. So let's try it again. Space Marine 2, Warhammer. Sheesh, you got to actually use Google. Warhammer, Space Marine 2, PlayStation, boom. Woo, like it's insane. Yep, $109 for the digital edition, which one of the main benefits, which was early access, is already gone, and $70 for the base edition. You come on a key site like CD Keys and you look at Space Marine Warhammer 2, it's about $51 of yesterday. I remember looking at the price. So they're asking $51.99. They're asking $77 for the gold edition and $85 for the ultra edition. Whereas here on PlayStation, they're asking you about $100, so about almost $20 more on average in all categories. It's wild, ladies and gentlemen. So those savings, they really do count on your behalf if you actually were to buy yourself a PC. And I'm sure many of you may be thinking about your library. How would you replace your library of games that you've already bought? There are many ways. Epic Games gives out free games every single month. They give out at least 3 to 4 free games each month. As much as you may hear people talk about Epic Games and, whatever, most of the big issues people have with them is their store exclusivity. But here's the thing. If you're already a PlayStation player, you already are used to exclusivity, right? Some of you love it. And so you can't really complain here. You can come to the Epic Games launcher and you can just start gathering free games and eventually bolster your library. If you have something like Amazon Prime also gives you Twitch rewards every single month where they actually, will grant you, let's see if we can find my Amazon or whatever, they'll give you free games based on your Amazon account. It's insane. They've given a lot of these games for free. Lego Lord of the Rings, and these are actually, some of them are good old games. Some of them you play on the Luna platform. Look, they're giving Lego Indiana Jones. They're giving the Tomb Raider on Epic Games. They're giving this one on Luna. They're giving the Borderlands, the pre-sequel. These are the new games that came out. Borderlands 2. They're giving Greedfall, which is a game that came out a while back. What else are they giving? Industria, Baldur's Gate 2. I think I already claimed this one. And in the past, they've given a whole bunch of other games that I've claimed on Good Old Games. I'm not even claiming the Luna versions actually. But if you wanted, you can also claim them as well. So these concerns, I think, are easily addressed at the end of the day. I'm going to go ahead and after this video claim my games because I know for sure that this is how I'm going to bolster my library. And believe you me, my library has been super bolstered in many cases with a lot of free games, in many cases with some games that I purchased on sale because I had them, on console. And more recently, I found out that I could just go ahead and get them on PC. Another example is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which is a game that, I've been playing with the kids and it's been a lot of fun. And I'm also, trying to tell that gentleman that said that I was casual in fighting games. I'm trying to learn what what fighting game you play. I want to learn from you. So please hit me up and we can exchange gamer tags and, we can see if I'm actually a casual in this fighting game thing that you've been talking about. And just because I don't make fighting game videos, I think you probably maybe, think that, it doesn't mean, it means that I can't play. The reason I don't do that is because they're just way better fighting game players out there. But I'd love to see you in a few online matches if you'll be willing to take the challenge. So thanks so much for watching the video. I appreciate you guys' time and audience. Check out the playlist. I'll be making more of these videos as time goes on. Appreciate y'all. Peace out.